Hi, everyone. I'm Christopher Thornycroft, and it is time for the Redwood Rundown. Okay, in order, let's hit them. End of the quarter. What does that mean? Southern California, big heat up. Actually, the entire West Coast. Seattle, heat up. Portland, Oregon, heat up. San Francisco, Stockton markets, heat up. Arizona will follow California. But all of you already knew that. We've talked about this. You've gotten a large heads up on this, and it is happening. It's happening in real time. Watch for Southern California to really have the biggest market impact Thursday through Monday. Next up, we have the impending port strike. Again, ILA, 45,000 members, potentially going on strike. Biden administration says that it's not getting involved. We'll see. If we were betting, and yeah, we've played some tennis bets in our time, we would bet that this is still not a strike of any extended magnitude of time if it were to take place. Think less than 24 hours. However, the fact that they haven't even sat at the bargaining table means that maybe there's a little bit more reality than what it was a few weeks ago. We'll see. Again, still, we would bet with the amount of money that's at stake that something gets worked out in the near term. Then what do we have coming on up? We've got a major storm that's developing. You have Hurricane Helene. This is the world of the internet. I don't know if Helene is Helen or if it's Helene, but there's something that's coming that looks like it's going to be a Category 3 hurricane that's headed for the panhandle of Florida. When we talk about hurricanes, major storms, and we're talking about the impact on the market, it is where and it is when, and both of those matter. And the where right now is an area that is not heavy with freight. That is not a market that causes a lot of disruption. But the when and the quarter, that is interesting. So we'll see what happens with that. Hopefully everyone stays safe over there. That's really the main concern. Then finally, the last one, the big information. The quarterly census review of employment and wages came on out. Jason Miller reported on this. He did a really good job on this. This came out for Q1. Now, we've been watching the survey-based CES data that's on a 2-month delay come on out, and we have just been confused, frightened, confused again, because the numbers for truckload and long-distance truckload employment just have not moved the way that we thought that they would. If you remember back on one of these Redwood Rundowns, going back to last year, we said that there was going to be a major drop-off in employment following the December holiday season. We just thought that's the way it works. Tons of carriers were going to drop out. And then the data came out and it didn't really happen. Not that much, just tiny little bit. And that's based off that census data. So that's based off 122,000 businesses being surveyed and giving their report as far as what's happening with employment. Well, the QCEW is the gold standard for labor employment, and that is based off of the review of unemployment filings. Now, it is 6 months back. We are only getting the updates now for what happened in Q1 of 2024. So it is not up to date. It is not current. But that drop that we were looking for from December to January, it happened. A drop of nearly 20,000 employees came into effect. So if you're looking at the Q1 data, you're now looking at a driver population or a long distance truckload employment population that includes some back office and everything of 520,000 as opposed to the 541,000 drivers and back office employees that we're looking at in the data for July. So that means that census data, that's survey-based, that's not accurate, and that's off by a lot. And there have been more companies that have come out of business since the end of Q1. So when we talk about, hey, what's happening when Ramadan doesn't feel right, when it feels like there's a lack of capacity, or we look at what happened with the end of the second quarter, or you look at what happened in the lead up to the July 4th holiday, and we say the market feels like it's closer to either equilibrium or imbalance than it did before, well, we finally have data to back that on up, and that's what we're looking at. So we think that there is capacity that continues to come on out. We think that the demand trigger that remains out there, and we now have at least some piece of a trigger with interest rate cuts, is really going to determine what happens with the market, especially though, again, now that we've had a lot of that supply come on out of the marketplace. It should be a different year going forward. That's all we have for right now. That was a lot, right? Sorry about the delay. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.